Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Steve Chapman, CEO of Natera, to discuss cell-free DNA diagnostic testing and remote testing capabilities. Steve, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me, Jill.
Where does Natera fit into the biotech ecosystem?
So Natera is a specialty diagnostic company that focuses on testing extremely tiny quantities of DNA down to below a single molecule in a tube of blood. We've taken this technology and applied it across three very large areas of healthcare: prenatal health, oncology, and women's health. So these are very large markets, but most importantly, there's an opportunity to make a very significant impact on patients. For example, last year, we did more than 1 million tests in our laboratory.
And what's unique about your diagnostics?
Yeah, so each of our diagnostic tests is unique. I'll focus on our Signatera test, which is for the purposes of detecting cancer recurrence. So although things have advanced quite a bit in early detection and treatment of cancer, recurrence remains a very significant issue. In colorectal cancer, today about 20 to 25% of patients have cancer recurrence. So we've developed a test that uses the unique signature of your tumor to make an individual test that's just for you. We then use that test from a simple blood draw to track cancer recurrence, so we can detect recurrence up to 2 years in advance of imaging alone. Now, this is really important in colorectal cancer because if you can detect cancer recurrence early, you can do surgery and potentially save the patient's life. So we've launched this test. It's now commercially available. It's covered by Medicare, and we're excited to be helping patients.
Remote testing capabilities were accelerated as a result of the pandemic. Is this growth sustainable as we get to the other side?
Yeah, so we've seen a very significant increase in remote testing. For example, in 2019, we did about 10,000 remote blood draws. Now we're at a run rate of about 50,000 a year. So a 5 times increase, largely due to COVID. This is part of a much broader trend of focusing on patient and physician experience in specialty diagnostics rather than, I think, the traditional diagnostic experience. So we're focusing on things like remote draws, but also access to genetic counseling and access to medical professionals simply from the click of a button on your computer screen. So we do expect this to increase, and we expect the trend to continue.
And Steve, to wrap up here, let's talk about longer-term strategy. Give us your outlook here and tell us about the pipeline.
Yeah, so this year we expect to do greater than 500 million in revenue. We're growing really fast in very large markets, and we think we can do greater than $1 billion in revenue in the near future. In the women's health sector, we're at the very early stages of penetration of an extremely large market opportunity. In oncology, it's the same. We've launched in colorectal cancer, but we're expected to bring our Signatera test to breast cancer, ovarian cancer, lung cancer, bladder cancer. Over the next several years, we're going to be expanding significantly. And then in organ health, again, we're at the very early stages of a very large market. So we think combined, these are about a $50 billion market opportunity, and we're poised to penetrate that over the next several years. So a lot of excitement ahead.
All right, Steve, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.